talking about animations and animators, and I realized in my last video I had made an error when I was creating my sprite editor. On the sprite editor sheet, one of the things I noticed is if I look at the sprites here, you can see the X and Y position of the sprites. And when I went back to the place where I was creating it, you'll see here is the upper left-hand corner of each image. So the first number is the X and the second is the Y. You'll notice the first three images have a Y of 0, so they're all along the top. But when we get to image number 003, we're no longer at the top. We're down one arrow. So actually, the first three on the top row are 0, 1, 2. Underneath those three is 3, 4, 5. Then it's 6, 7, 8, 9, like so. So I had to go through and I had to explore each of these. I renumbered all of these on here so that that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. I renumbered them by just putting a 0 in front so I could rename them without messing up the other names. And then 6. Actually, 7 was under it, then 8, then 9 was how I figured it out. So I wanted to apply that and put it back in. So what we're going to do is show you how to add our animation clips into our different animation. Now, I'm going to redo this particular animation clip with my new Ninja Idle. So that's the old one. This is the new one. So I'm going to add all of my images in here. Now, in order to do that, make sure that you can see under Animation tab Ninja Idle. If you don't see it, click on Ninja Idle, and you should see it in here. If you don't, you can click here and create a new clip and add it that way. But since that's idle, I'm going to go ahead and grab all my images and I'm going to drag them over onto the timeline. Already the sample is at 7, so I can go back to the scene. He's ginormous because I redid the images and those are larger images. So I need to scale him down. So be careful if you're doing sprites, make sure they all scale about right. So we were at 1.5, I'm going to put it down to 0.3, 0.3, and it took me a while to get to the size that I wanted. Now if I click on here, I can animate it, we can zoom in and see the animation sprite. And if you see here, it's a lot more smooth than before. Okay, because I have now all the images are in the right order. It looks strange before. Now, before I do this, let me show you one other thing on my sprite. When I created my sprite in the renderer, one of the things we want to do under Inspector is uncheck Generate Bitmaps, and we want to change filter mode from bilinear to point to make it an even nicer looking image graphic-wise. And then we can play it again, very smooth. There's our idle. Looks pretty good. We could probably even change the sample back up to 10. And yeah, it's pretty good for idle. Okay, I'm content with that. We're good. I'm going to go ahead and apply those changes. So anytime you try to do something, if it stops you, you should probably check, because it probably just means you need to save something. So we go ahead and apply it. And now what we want to do is talk about animation. Okay. The other thing is you saw how he fell through the platform. We'll deal with that in a little bit. I want to deal with changing from one animation to the next. So for that, what we're going to use is our Ninja Jump. And we have our Ninja Jump animation, and that's probably off too, so I'll probably have to fix that in a moment. But before I do, let's talk about how we add it. First of all, before we even go further, on Ninja Idle, you should double check the animation clip and make sure on Inspector, in this case, idle is a looping animation, so go ahead and put loop time and check that there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create another animation for jump. So we're going to create a new animation. And this time, we're going to call it Ninja Jump. And as long as we can see our Ninja controller, we can then take Ninja Jump and just drag it right in here. So now we have an animation for Ninja Jump. For jumping, what I'm going to do is I want to make it so if I press the up arrow, our ninja will go from idle to jump. it will play jump once and automatically go back to Ninja idle. Of course, we need our animation in here. So what we're going to do is select Ninja so we can see Ninja jump. Now notice we have Ninja idle and Ninja jump. So we're going to select Ninja jump. You can see there's nothing on the timeline. So we're going to go back to the Ninja sprites for Ninja jump. I'm going to click on here, select them all, holding down Shift, drag them out. I somehow missed dragging them all. There we go. Change our sample to 10. And we can adjust this sample on here as well. So what we need to do is determine how do we go from Ninja idle to Ninja jump. For that, we need a transition. Also, go ahead and click on, go to the animation that has Ninja jump, select it, and make sure loop time is unchecked. What we want to do is we want to set some way of determining when do we go from idle to jump. And I already have it on here. I must have added it from before. So let me just remove this. And what we need is a parameter. We need a way of going from Ninja idle to Ninja jump. First thing I want to do is make a transition between these two. So I right click and I choose make transition, and then I just click on Ninja jump. Notice the arrow's going from idle to jump. What I want to do is I want to determine, are we jumping or not? So we're going to use a script to help us determine, but we're going to set what's called a parameter. We want to set how do we determine we're jumping or not. So we click on here, we can create a float, an int, a bool, or a trigger. We're going to use bool, which is shorthand for Boolean, which means true or false. If we're jumping, we're going to jump. So I click bool, and I'm going to write is jumping. Okay, so I select it. So I've created, this is a variable. If is jumping is set to true, I'm going to jump. So I click on Ninja jump, and right here it says transition. The list is empty. So I'm going to add behavior. No, I'm not going to add behavior. I'm going to click on, sorry, I have to click the transition. There we go. Okay, so you'll see you have Ninja idle, Ninja jump. Notice Ninja jump happens after Ninja idle. And under here, we see conditions. List is empty. I click on the plus, is jumping true. So what that's going to say is if jumping is set to true, we're going to jump. Okay? So we have to set it to true before it's going to do it. Also, be careful. This has exit time, determines whether we have to finish playing idle to jump. And we don't want to wait till it finishes the loop. So we're going to uncheck it. Because the moment we go to jump, no matter where we are in idle, we want to immediately transition into jump mode. The other thing is we have to determine how do we go from jump mode to idle, and that should be easy. We're basically going to make a transition back to Ninja idle, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and leave add exit time, and we're not going to have any conditions. He's just going to go right back to idle after doing jump. He could be falling through the air, he'll be in idle. Later on, if we want to have a falling animation, we can do that. And we can have him falling if he's done jumping but hasn't landed on a platform. And we can control that later. So at this point, we have our transitions, but we have no way of coding that. We need a script. And for that, I'm going to have to continue on our next video where I cover doing scripts. And so we'll talk about control and how do we go between these two by jumping.